So how are we looking on the HEX chart? We're currently sitting at 4.8 cents. If we take a look at around here, we can zoom in on that. So from about this period here, the start of June, the HEX price has been pretty much between this slot around there, 6.8 to here, which looks like the bottom, about 3 cents, and it's been like that for about 2 months. If you look at this video here that I posted on the HEXiKlub channel, this is DCC dollar cost crypto talking about numerous occasions that Richard Hart has called the bottom. So he seems to think that this point here, which is around 2.93, is the bottom. So he thinks we're going to move up. So if Pulse chain launches, we could see a massive rise here, a huge pump going up. So hopefully that's going to be soon. I just want to show you this article from Watcher News, which talks about HEX volatility up by 92%. What's next for the asset? Written by Lavinia. That was a few days ago, so it's dipped slightly. 200 ranked crypto HEX, so someone's been using a dodgy ranking site, has evidently been gaining traction of late. On the price front, the altcoin has risen 13% on the weekly, and as a result has moved up the rankings chart. In effect, chatter mentions on social media platforms has inclined by 23% over the past week. Alongside the social engagements associated with HEX has also climbed by 30% in the same time frame. In fact, data from Lunar Crush also brought into light the volatility in the HEX ecosystem has risen by 92% over the past week. The same means the price movement in the coming days would likely be characterized by thrust and vigor. Which direction is HEX expected to move? Well, investors have little to complain about. The altcoin's Sharpe ratio has been inclining since the end of June. In fact, a few days back it stood at the highest level of the year. So the Sharpe ratio, if we take a look at Investopedia, this is the Sharpe ratio, quick definition. What is the Sharpe ratio? The Sharpe ratio was developed by Nobel laureate William F. Sharpe and is used to help investors understand the return of investment compared to its risk. The ratio is the average return earned in excess of the risk-free rate per unit of volatility or total risk. Volatility is a measure of price fluctuations of an asset or portfolio. So the key takeaways of the Sharpe ratio are adjust a portfolio's assets' past performance or expected future performance for the excess risk which was taken by the investor. So a high Sharpe ratio is good when compared to similar portfolios or funds with low returns. The Sharpe ratio has several weaknesses, including an assumption that investment returns are normally distributed. Right, so there's the formula. You can see that there. So I think this graph here kind of shows the Sharpe ratio there in blue going up, which is basically saying it's probably a good point to buy HEX and the price itself there. Given the steep inclination of the curve over the past few weeks, it can be contended that HEX hodlers are being fetched with high returns for the risk borne by them. Alongside, it is worth noting that the whale interest with respect to HEX has also risen over the past week. Apart from analytics platform sentiment underlining the rise in whale transactions, HEX Whalebot chalked out the rise in the individual HEX-related buy transactions that have taken place on dexes like Uniswap. Keeping this in mind, it can be contended that large participants are currently on their accumulation spree at the moment. So this is the HEX Whalebot Twitter account. We've got a transaction there for 2.5 million HEX for 156k USD, and these are a few days old, August 17th. But if you looked at today's one, there were a hell of a lot of buys on that one as well. Parallelly, HEX related staking interest has also been reignited half an hour back for instance, a particular participant staked over 50 million HEX tokens. That's huge. In fact, there have been such several transactions that have taken place over the past week. So that was staked, but it's only for 14 days. Given the rising whale interest, refining social sentiment, and including the Sharpe ratio, HEX's price can be expected to climb over the next few days. However, going forward, if the sentiment flips to negative and whales start dumping their tokens, participants should brace themselves for a trend reversal.